Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is your Arabic teacher Sam and a very warm welcome to the very last episode in this little series we're doing together. On Wednesdays we're doing walkthroughs, we're doing Wednesday walkthroughs of just a little something in the Arabic language every single week, and we're in the last lesson now of the series that we're doing on the Prophet Huda alayhi salam. We're doing the complete story of the Prophet Huda alayhi salam. This is lesson 11, the last week. So at the end of this video I'll do a little announcement of what we're going to be moving on to next week inshallah, because I have something planned for you. Next week's Wednesday walkthroughs we're going to be doing something new. We're going to be doing a new little bit of modern Arabic poetry, and yeah, I think it'll be really nice. It'll be really nice for us to get into. So this one's a little bit of a longer one. I mean, this passage in the story is a little bit longer, and you know, so settle in for it a little bit. This lesson might be as long as half an hour or something maybe inshallah. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, we'll get into it inshallah. So this lesson, this chapter in the story is called Al-Adhab. Al-Adhab. Let's have a look at it. So the word Al-Adhab up here just means the punishment. Okay, this is the punishment which is long overdue to the people of Ahad. Yeah, so that's what's coming. Okay, some of you who know the story of Prophet Huda alayhi salam and his people, the people of Ad, know what their end is. A lot of you know what their fate was, but those of you who don't, you're going to find out. So let's begin. وَكَانَ عَادٌ. So whenever, you know, we've seen kana a million times now, you know, whenever you say وَكَانَ blah blah blah, it's usually in the past tense. So وَكَانَ عَادٌ يَنْتَظِرُونَ الْمَطَرِ. So they were doing يَنْتَظِرُونَ. This is from the verb انتظر, written like this. انتظر. It's a form 8 verb. And then I like how the author uses the form 1 as well further down. Well, we'll get to it inshallah. So they were doing يَنْتَظِرُونَ الْمَطَرِ. The matar is the rain. So they were waiting for the rain. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ وَيَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى السَّمَاءِ. So they were waiting for the rain all day. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ, all day. Yeah, they're waiting for the rain all day. وَيَنْظُرُونَ, they were doing نَظَرَ. This is the form 1. Okay, you'll notice that نَظَرَ, yeah, as I say, is the form 1 of انتظر. انتظر literally means to await something. To wait for or to await something. And نَظَرَ means to look at something. I don't know how those verbs are related to each other. I'm not quite sure what waiting or awaiting something is to do with looking at something, but they are both from the same root. So Aad were waiting for the rain all day, and they were looking towards the sama, they were looking towards the sky. فَلَا يَرَوْنَ قِطَعَةَ السَّحَابِ. So, and they did not see. فَلَا يَرَوْنَ. They did not see a قِطَعَ. Literally a قِطَعَ means a drop. A قِطَعَ. A drop. But this term sahab, whenever it's used in here, it's talking about rain clouds. It's talking about clouds, sort of drop clouds or rain clouds. Good. وَكَانُوا فِي حَاجَةٍ إِلَى الْمَطَرِ. This verb haja is quite a nice word to know. It just means to need something. You can use the it's a form 8 verb actually. You say احتاج إلى something. You always, you know, in Arabic you always say you need to something. You need إلى something. تحتاج إلى something, or أنا أحتاج إلى something means I need something. But they were in haja, they were in need. They were in need of matar. وَكَانَ لَهُمْ شَوْقٌ عَظِيمٌ. And they had a great shawq. Shawq is kind of like a desire for something. They had a great want. They had a great want إلى المطر, towards the rain. They had a great want for rain. Okay, so ذات يوم رأوا سحابة تأتي إليهم. So ذات يوم, sort of saying one day. رأوا, they saw. سحابة, you know, I mentioned, you know, the mention of sahab or sahaba, you know, mention of clouds in this. I mean, the root verb, I mean, the verb sahaba, or words that come from ishab or whatever else, they're to do with withdrawing something. You know, you use that verb when you talk about withdrawing money from an ATM or anything like that as well. But in this case, I'm not sure if clouds have that same root because, you know, snow or rain is drawn out from the clouds. I'm not sure why. Or because clouds actually draw up, don't they? Actually, when water evaporates, they actually draw it up into the clouds, maybe. Anyway, but they didn't see any clouds. They didn't see any rain clouds. تأتي إليهم. Oh, sorry, they did. They saw a cloud coming towards them. You know, the verb تأتي from أتى يأتي was coming towards them. So what did they do? ففرحوا جدا. So ففرحوا. So they did some فرحة. The verb فرحة, there are a lot of names that come from this verb. I mean, the word farhan means to be happy, or ifrah, it's quite a common girl's name. I know some Somali women called ifrah, or fariha. So a lot of words that come from that. But the verb fariha means to be joyful or to rejoice in something. And it's used a lot of times in the Quran as well. So they were very, very joyful. Okay, they were rejoicing because of this rain coming. وصاحوا, and they shouted. The verb صاح means to shout. So صاحوا, and they shouted. هذه سحابة مطر. This is a cloud of rain. هذه سحابة مطر. This is a cloud of rain. ورقص الناس فرحا. رقص is a nice verb to know. It just means to dance. رقص الناس, the people danced. فرحا, in a joyful way. You know, this is just kind of an adverb, really. فرحا, they danced in a joyful way. ونادى بعضهم بعضا وقالوا سحابة مطر. So ونادى, this verb نادى ينادي is a form 3 verb, and it means to call out, to call upon. You know, when in Arabic grammar, when I teach how to say yeah, whenever we say like ya Amir al-Mu'mineen or ya ayyuhan nabi, when you use this yeah, that's called a harfun nida. It's called a harf of calling out to someone. So wanada, they called out. بعضهم بعضا. Whenever you see ba'd and ba'd together, I quite like seeing it because it just sounds so Arabic. بعضهم بعضا, بعضهم ببعض, بعضهم على بعض. Like Allah uses those in the Quran all the time, and perhaps because it's got an ayn and a dad in it, it sounds particularly Arabic. But whenever you see those together, it usually means towards each other. You know, if they're doing something towards each other, and in this case they're calling out to each other, you have بعضهم بعضا. You know, some of them, literally the word ba'd means some. So some of them were calling out in a some kind of way. Some of them were calling out to some. وَنَادَى بَعْضُهُمْ بَعْضًا وَقَالُوا, and they were saying, rain cloud, rain cloud. وَلَكِنَّ هُودًا فَهِمَ أَنَّ الْعَذَابَ قَدْ جَاءَ. ولكن, but Hudan, and it's Hudan because of walakinna. Walakinna is from Inna and her sisters, which means that the ism of Inna, which is Hud in this case, has a fathas on the end. It's the mansub case. So, but Hud, okay, but Hud, what did he do? Fahima, he understood. Hud understood أن العذاب, that the punishment, قد جاء. Bismillah. So, he understood that the punishment قد جاء has indeed come. This word قد, sometimes you see قد like this, sometimes you see وقد, sometimes you even see لقد and وقد, and they deserve a whole lesson to themselves really, but in this case it's sort of a case of certainty. You know, you're using it to say قد جاء, indeed it has come, indeed the punishment has come. وَقَالَ لَهُمْ هُودٌ, you know, so Hud said to them, لَيْسَ هَذَا سَحَابَ رَحْمَةٍ, this sahab, this cloud is not rain of mercy, it's not rain of rahmah that's coming. بَلْ هُوَ رِيحٌ فِيهَا عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, saying, sorry, my computer's misbehaving a minute. Let's say install in an hour. That should give us long enough to finish this video, inshallah. So, bel means rather. It's sort of saying rather or on the contrary or something like that. So, you know, it's not a rain cloud of mercy. Rather, it is a rih. It is a wind. Fiha adabun alim. It is a wind in which there is in it a painful punishment. وَكَانَ كَذَلِكَ, and it was as such. وَكَانَ كَذَلِكَ. كَذَلِكَ just kind of means, as such. فَقَدْ, I mentioned we have وَقَدْ and فَقَدْ and لَقَدْ and sometimes just قَدْ, but فَقَدْ So then, indeed, هبت ريح شديدة. So a severe wind. Rih, for those of you who don't know, rih is a feminine word actually. There are some of these words of nature which are feminine. They just are in their nature. They are feminine. The word sama is one as well. And the word ard is one as well. Some of these words, the sky, the sky, the wind, fire, war is another one as well. There are some of these words that are just feminine, but they don't have a ta madbut on the end. And rih is one of them, so that's why we say it's shadidatun. So, the verb habba, sort of glided over that. Habba means to blow. So a severe wind blew. ما رأى الناس مثلها. ما رأى, they did not see الناس, the people did not see مثلها, the like of it. Just the word مثل, مثل on its own means like. مثلها, this ha is referring back to the rih. So like it or like that wind. وما سمع الناس بمثلها. And the people did not hear of the like of it. I don't know if the author has deliberately done this, but I really appreciate it and I like it. So in this case, the mithl is the object of the sentence because the people did not see the like of it. So the like of it is the object, which is why we have a fatha at the top here. But then in the next part, where it says وَمَا سَمِعَ النَّاسُ بِمِثْلِهِ, which is why we have a kasra underneath. Because in this case, it's after a preposition, the bit. I quite like how he did that. So we saw a mithla and a mithli. Good. وهبت العاصفة. A slight typography mistake there, I suppose. It probably should have auto-corrected really when the author was writing it, but when you have an L here and you have a feminine verb here, this sukoon becomes a kasra. Like when you read it, you can't say habbat al-asifa, or else when you say that, you're reading a hamzat qata'a, and it's not al-asifa, it's just al-asifa. So you say wahabbatil asifa. When you read through, it is still habbat, it is still conjugated in the here form, saying like she blew, because it's talking about something feminine. But when you write it out, you put a kasra after that. So, but anyway, so we'd read it like this: wahabbatil asifatu, wahabbatil asifatu. So the asifa, which means a storm, so like the storm blew. I think even in the when you read the play, actually no, I was going to say the play The Tempest by Shakespeare, when it's translated into Arabic, it's called al-asifa, but I don't think it is. It might be a zawba or something like that. There's another word for a tempest, zawba or salba or something like that. But al-asifa is a storm too. هبت العاصفة تقلع الأشجار. So the storm blew, tearing up the trees. تقلع الأشجار. وتهدم البيوت. The verb تهدم means to destroy, destroying the houses. وتحمل الدواب. Dawab in this case means animals, but it can mean like just creatures. It can be anything living. But in this case, I assume it's talking about the farm animals and stuff that belong to them, وَتَحْمِلُ الدَّوَابِ. It carried them. وَتَرْمِيهَا إِلَى مَكَانٍ بَعِيدٍ. And it would carry them. وَتَرْمِيهَا. And it threw them even, It threw them إِلَى مَكَانٍ. To مَكَانٍ بَعِيدٍ. To a faraway place. Literally the wind would carry the animals and would throw them away to a faraway place. وَطَارَتْ لِمَالُ الصَّحْرَاءِ. Nice. Tara is the verb to fly, but al-rimal is the plural of the word raml, which means sand. Very important, going to Arab world, you need to know that word. Raml is sand, rimal is the sand. So it made the sand of the desert was sort of flying. وَأَظْلَمَتِ الدُّنْيَا. Okay, so here's what I was explaining. Okay, remember what I said up here about it actually supposed to be habbatil asifa. Actually, that's actually what has been done here. وَأَظْلَمَتِ الدُّنْيَا. That is just أظلمت. The asifa is doing some أظلمت. So it should, it would normally be written as a sukoon there, but we put a kasra after it because it's joining up with this L. So أظلم, it means to make something dark. Al-dhulumat means like shadows or the darkness. But أظلم means to make something dark. So it made the dunya, made the world dark. فلا يرى الإنسان شيئا. So the people, man couldn't see anything. Man could see nothing. Good. ودخلهم الرعب فدخلوا بيوتهم وأغلقوا أبوابها عفوا. So ودخلهم الرعب. الرعب entered into them. الرعب means sort of horror or fear. Like horror movies are called, you refer to them as الرعب or روايات الرعب, sort of horror novels or something like that. دخلوا بيوتهم, so they entered their homes. وأغلقوا أبوابها, and they locked their أبواب. أغلق. أغلق just means to lock their door. There are other forms of that verb actually, interestingly. The form to غلق means to sort of, it's not just locking something, it's like running over the door and putting all the bolts on and stuff. That's غلق. That's the verb that's used in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, when what is it? Aziz's wife is like trying to make her advances to Yusuf alayhi salam, and she وغلقت الأبواب. It says she sort of went over to the door, she bolted and locked the doors, and she tightened the key as much as she could or whatever. وقالت هيت لك, and she said to Yusuf, I'm on it. So let's continue. So وَاعْتَنَقَ الْأَطْفَالُ بِالْأُمَّهَاتِ. So اعتنق means to sort of to embrace or to hold on to something. I don't know if it has any connection to the word unq, which means your throat or your neck. When you sort of embrace, you sort of hold them close to your neck. But اعتنق الأطفال, so بِأُمَّهَاتِ, so the children embraced their mothers. The children held tight to their mothers. وَاعْتَنَقَ النَّاسُ بِجُدْرَانِ. So the judran is the plural of the word jidar. Jidar is a wall. The people would hold tight to the wall so they wouldn't sort of be blown away in the wind. وَدَخَلَ النَّاسُ الْحُجُرَاتِ. And the people entered their hujurat. What are hujurat? Hujurat are sort of are rooms really, but they sort of has the connotation of them being private, or like further back in the house. Your hujurat are. There's a surah of the Quran called Surah Al-Hujurat, and it's about there's wisdoms in that surah teaching people how to have good etiquette towards people who are in their homes. It begins with telling people not to sort of raise their voice and shout at people to come out of their homes, and then sort of how to approach people's homes when they're at home, etc. So yes, the people went into their sort of private rooms. Okay. Oh, we've got another whole page pretty much. I'll have some coffee that gets through it. So al-atfalu yabkun. This is from the verb baka yabki, meaning to cry. So the children would cry. Cool little fact though. Baka yabki has a form 6, which is tabaka, which means to pretend to cry, which is quite interesting. How you can just use a different, like the form 6 is quite interesting. How like in the form 6 of verbs, one of its uses is to mean to pretend to do that verb. So like like the word like murid, to be sick. If you do like tamarada, it means like to pretend to be sick. But anyway, like in this case, all that's going on is that the children are crying. وَالنِّسَاءُ يَحِصْنَ وَالرِّجَالُ يَدْعُونَ وَيَسْتَغِيثُونَ. Okay, nice. So the men are calling, يَدْعُونَ وَيَسْتَغِيثُونَ, and they're appealing. I don't know if that means they're sort of appealing to their sort of idol gods, or they're I don't know. But وَكَأَنَّ قَائِلًا يَقُولُ. So just as the speaker said, I mean the qa'il is probably referring to Hud alayhi salam. What did Hud say? لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله. So this is something from the Quran. I think this is ayah, probably ayah like It's definitely in the passage between like 40 and 45. Might be ayah 43 or something, 42 or 43. لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله. So there is no عاصمة. There's no guide or no protector today min amrillah, from the matter of Allah. There's no protection today from the matter of Allah. كان ذلك 7 ليال و8 أيام. This is that's quite clearly just something from Surah Haqqa, I think it is, Surah Al-Haqqa. There's a passage in that talks about Ad and Thamud. كذبت ثمود وعاد بالقارعة فأما ثمود فأهلكوا بالطاغية وأما عاد فأهلكوا بريح صرصر عاتية سخر عليهم 7 ليال و8 أيام حسوما. So that's like something directly from the Quran as well, that the punishment كان ذلك, it was 7 ليال, it was 7 nights, وثمانية أيام, and 8 days. That's how long the storm, the wind came to the people of Ad. ومات القوم فكانوا كالأشجار النخيل سقطت على الأرض. So the nation, they died. Okay, كانوا كأشجار, they were like trees, and nakhil, I mean, sort of like palm trees, سقطت على الأرض. They're like fallen palm trees on the earth. You've just got these bodies lying around like fallen trees on the earth. وكان منظرا غريبا جدا. It was a very strange scene. الناس أموات يأكلهم الطير. So like the dead people sort of being eaten by the birds. والبيوت خراب يسكنها البوام. Okay, nice. So البيوت خراب is like the houses. The houses are destroyed. يسكنها البوام. So buam is the plural of buma. Buma is an owl. So the owls lived in the houses that were destroyed. The houses were destroyed and the owls lived in the houses that were once the houses of the people of Ad. وَالنَّجَى هُودٌ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ بِإِيمَانِهِمْ. Naja is to do with being saved. When you ask someone to save you, you say أنجينا من النار. So save us from the fire. وَنَجِّنِي, Allah often says وَنَجِّنِي, and I saved. But Naja, so Hud and the believers were saved by their iman. Because of their iman they were saved. وَهَلَكَتْ عَادٌ بِكُفْرِهَا, and Ad were destroyed because of their kufr, because of their disbelief. And also their inad, وَعِنَادِهَا, and their stubbornness, perhaps. And now we have a statement from somewhere else in the Quran. Let me read, I'm not quite sure where it's from yet. أَلَا إِنَّ عَادًا كَفَرُوا ربهم ألا إن عادا كفروا ربهم ألا بعدا لعاد قوم هود. Oh, that's like ayah 60, 59 or 60 or something in the story of Hud alayhi salam. So he's saying, so indeed, certainly Ad disbelieved in their Lord. ألا بعدا لعاد قوم هود. Far from, sort of the people of Ad are far from Hud. They're far from him. So that's it. Goodness gracious, what a long journey we've had together. What a long journey we've had of our Wednesday walkthroughs. Today is not Wednesday though, obviously, as you know. But that's not a problem. Usually they are on Wednesdays, and we are going to continue on Wednesdays. So this Wednesday coming, inshallah, we're going to move on to something new. We're going to start working through a poem. It's called Fil Quds, in Jerusalem. And it's a really beautiful, Palestinian poem about Jerusalem. And there are some very, very well watched videos on YouTube of reciters reciting this long poem. And I remember it was something that was always recited when I was at university. And any like ceremony, any like graduation ceremony, or any any ceremony really that you had, you'd always have a poet recite this poem, and it's just really beautiful. Like I very rarely sort of miss being in Palestine. Now, when I'm going about my life and stuff, I'm with my family and everything here, and I'm in the UK, which is obviously my country where I was born and where I've been brought up and stuff, and I'm comfortable here. Like I very rarely sort of sit and think about how much I actually miss Palestine. But when I was reading this, like it brought a tear to my eye, really. Like when I was reading that poem, I thought it just reminded me so much of being back there, and I don't think I realised how much I miss it until I go back. Like I remember when I was there, I came home for a short break, like halfway through the year, and when I went back, I just realised how much I missed it. And every now and again, I come across things like, if I eat knafe or whatever and stuff as well, I just realise how much I miss being there. And so I love this poem, and we'll read it together, inshallah. I don't know if we'll go through all of it because it's long, but we'll definitely do like the first 10 lines of poetry. The first lesson is going to be a bit of a crash course in poetry terms. Like when in England we start learning about poems in school, we learn some quite important terminologies for talking about poetry. So like what a sonnet is, what a stanza of poetry is, what a rhyming couplet is, what stuff like that. So I'm going to do a little bit of a crash course at the beginning of next lesson on Arabic poetry, terminologies that you should really be familiar with for learning Arabic poetry. So we'll do a little crash course. Not even a course, just like a crash session, a little brainstorm, perhaps we'll call it, of like introduction to Arabic poetry terms, and then we'll start the walkthrough. Inshallah, we'll do that all next lesson. Now, another thing, which is obviously really good news, is I have created a complete course for you for free that I'd like to give to you guys. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. And basically, what we've done here, we've been through a whole passage in the stories of the prophets, and we've just kind of done a walkthrough. But I've never really taught you guys how to actually do what I'm doing. I've never really taught you the grammar rules. I've never actually taught you the vocab that's in it. We just kind of walk through it, and I expect you guys to have some context on it. So those of you who don't have much context on it, or anyone who you know who doesn't have much context on it, you can send them to this free course, because it's sort of a mini version of my main program. And my main program is the Arabic in 60 Steps program. These are the workbooks back there for them. So I've done like an Arabic in 6 steps. It's a 6 steps to understanding the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. So there'll be a lot of benefit for that, inshallah. I'll leave a link to it, and it's a completely free course. I'll send it to you, and you can benefit from it. You'll learn 40 new Arabic words. You'll learn 6 most key and essential concepts of Arabic grammar to start unlocking texts like this. And it's just a really, really valuable course that I'm prepared to give to you guys for free. So go ahead and make the most of that. And then also just make sure you come back next week. Make sure you come back on Wednesday for us to start our modern poetry walkthroughs. It's been really nice. It's nice to bring this to an end, and I look forward to you guys coming on the journey further with me, inshallah. If you have any questions, just stick them in the comments. If you want to get in touch with me personally about my program or anything like that, just send me an email, ArabicwithSam@gmail.com. Obviously, you can hit me up on other social medias as well, if that's more comfortable for you. DM me on Instagram, message me on Facebook, whatever you like. And I will catch you guys on Wednesday, or I'll see you in the free course, inshallah. See you guys soon. Have a very lovely day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
وما أرسلنا من رسول إلا بلسان قومه ليبين لهم فيضل الله من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء وهو العزيز الحكيم.